everybody, welcome to Home Groups, where we apply the message we heard this weekend at Freedom Valley Church. This weekend, I actually spoke from the book of Ecclesiastes, where we find out that life is pointless.
Yep. Actually, the book ends in a much more well-rounded place. He does say a lot of life is pointless type of things in there, but he ends on a much better note, meaning that happiness and the pursuit of happiness can be pointless, but when we focus it on God and the purposes of God, serving God, what God wants us to do with our life, then it becomes not pointless, but very pointed.
Yeah, and we spent a lot of time talking about that this weekend. That yes, life is difficult to understand or grasp or fully get the purpose behind, but when we build our life on the things of God, we can trust that there is meaning to it. Mm-hmm. And we might not see the forest for the trees or be able to see through the fog of life, but we can know that He is in control. And I have to ask here in Home Groups, are you doing the things that make God in control of your life? Or are you just randomly going in a direction hoping it's following you?
Yeah, well, a lot of us pursue power or property, or what was the other? Popularity. Instead of what God wants. We make the easy choice rather than the right choice. When we consistently make the right choice in our lives, we might not have the powerful place or the popular place, but we feel better about it. We feel more well-rounded in our soul, and ultimately God can use us from that place more than the popular place or the powerful place.
Yeah. Ecclesiastes paints a picture of an individual who has recognized that the things of this world are fleeting, meaningless, and empty, but the things of God are greater. But if he only focuses on God and he only knows God, then he'll be so shifted towards God that he'll miss the value that this world can also offer. So he needs to put God first and acknowledge that the rest of the world deserves a place in our life, that we do need to be there for non-believers. And if we're not there for non-believers, we aren't able to help. We aren't the balm. We aren't the solution. We aren't the source that God wants us to be.
Yeah, I tell this story a lot, but in high school, I was a Christian. I lived for God, a pastor's kid, and they all knew that. And while I wasn't super popular back then, and I made some choices that they didn't understand or agree with, still to this day, 10, 15 years later, I get messages occasionally from them like, I'm going through a crisis, I'm getting divorced, I'm bankrupt, or whatever the crisis is. I know that you had a hope that nobody else had. What is it? Like, explain that to me. And they're reaching out to me all these years later because they know that I was the only one that they knew that believed in God. So are we living a life now that people in crisis can reach out to? Are we making our faith, our hope, and our freedom known? It might not, those seeds that you're planting today might not come up today or tomorrow, but 10 years from now, they're still viable, still may come up then when people are ready to receive it.
And as you were telling that story, I just had this picture of, there's two types of believers that make their faith known. Mm-hmm. There's those who are just genuine and open and loving, and people want to know them. And then there's individuals who make their faith a weapon.
Yeah.
And you don't go to those people in times of trouble. So how do we live that balanced life that lets the world know we love them and love God, while not putting anyone off to the potential of a relationship that could lead them to Jesus?
Right, we still have to be approachable, not judgmental, but kind and open and loving, speaking the truth in love, so that when people are able to receive it, they know who to come to.
So today in our groups, let's pinpoint some of the steps that we can take to make ourselves approachable, to make ourselves known to the world around us, and also identify the things in our lives that need to be established so that we grow closer to God.
Yeah, should be a fun conversation, guys.
See you next week.